morning everyone. Breakfast time. Wednesday the 22nd of September today. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I went to the pop-up for Sally Rooney's new book in Shoreditch here in London. So I have Sally Rooney's beautiful Word Where Are You? It's a beautiful hardback copy and includes an exclusive short story according to the cover. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into this. For me, Sally Rooney is a bit of a, I don't want to say hit and miss because I think she writes in a really nice way, but I think I might have mentioned this in the previous video. I really enjoyed Normal People, it really resonated, but then Conversation with Friends felt a little bit forced in terms of the narrative, felt really pretentious at times. So we'll see how this one fits in. I watched Lena Norm's video about this and she said that if you enjoyed Normal People and you didn't particularly enjoy Conversation with Friends, this might not be the right book for you. But that being said, everybody's different, everybody's taste is different, this might resonate with me, who knows. And I think part of it takes place in Rome, which is where I'm from, so it'd be quite nice to see somebody's perspective of my own city. I think it's also quite critical of the writing / publishing industry on its own, so that'll be interesting to read from, you know, like being written by a cool hip author like Sally Rooney. We'll see, we'll see. Whew. Afternoon everyone, it's around 4:30. So it's been a few hours since I last updated you. I am sweaty and looking like this. Today I did 2 workouts, the baby friendly Pilates I was talking about this morning, and then I did one of the Chloe Ting workouts, and I think today was, what was it? Abs day. So I did abs workout as well. I'm now a sweaty mess. I'm in desperate need for a shower, but there is so much to do around the house, so I think I'm just going to try combine as many things as I can before heading into a shower so I can be nice and fresh. Poppy's here, chilling. Yeah, do you want to say hello? Do you want to say hello? See? So other than the little human, I have this, my beautiful fur baby. And I love her to bits. Oh yeah, this is my bedroom. I plastered and renovated the whole thing and painted the whole thing and built furniture when I was 39 weeks pregnant. So yeah, a week before my daughter was born, this happened. It goes to show that I'm completely mental and I was in complete denial. But it's all done. I didn't die. The baby's fine. The room is nice. It's okay. It's okay. We even have an ensuite, which is a true luxury, especially in London. I need to clean the kitchen. I need to tidy up. I need to clean myself. The baby needs a bath. And I want to do this within the next hour so that I can then focus on the novel. Because I'm not sure whether I mentioned this or not, but I have started working on my novel again. I started editing properly again. The key thing is that I worked on a novel and I wrote the first draft really quickly. Within 6 to 9 months it was completely done. And then obviously I decided to take a bit of a break, and as I took that little bit of a break between finishing the first draft and deciding to start with the edits, I then lost my granddad. Well, I didn't lose him, he died, and the novel was inspired a lot by something that he used to tell me all the time. So for me, even thinking about the novel I had written was really sad. And one thing that I'm really happy I managed to do is the first chapter wasn't fully edited, it was sort of like edited here and there. I asked my dad to print it. I couldn't attend the funeral, but I asked my dad to print it and give it to my granddad for his final journey, so it'll be forever with him. They'll be together, and you know, I don't know what I believe in. I was raised in a Catholic country, and if you ask me now, do you think there is a God, I'd probably say no. But part of me wants to believe that there is a greater reason for life and death, especially when it comes to grief. It really helps to have that sort of perspective on things. So I really wanted for my granddad to have a copy, at least of one chapter of the novel that he inspired. God, this got really deep, sorry. Good morning everyone. It's early, it's not even 7 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. I think I started this vlog about a week ago, but I barely read anything. It's been a bit busy. I have managed to do some reading yesterday of Sally Rooney's beautiful word, Where Are You? I am about, what, 50 pages in? 35 pages in. I've read way less than I thought I had. So far, it's just an introduction to the main characters. We have Alice, who's a writer, Felix, who meets Alice, but we don't know too much about him yet. And then we have Eileen, who is Alice's friend, and she works in publishing. I believe she works in the editing side of publishing. And then we have another character who's called Simon. I don't know if he's going to be one of the main characters yet, but we know that he's friends with Eileen. He's 5 years older than Eileen. They've known each other since childhood, but they've had this sort of connection in terms of things that they enjoy doing and interests and all that. I think there might be some sexual tension between them, but so far in the book they have not explored a sexual relationship just yet. The voice of the narration is very different from both Conversation with Friends and Normal People, in my opinion. It feels, I don't want to say feels false, because it doesn't feel false. It reads still nicely, but it does sound different, if it makes any sense. For now, I'll get back to my reading. I'll make myself an espresso and I'll remove some of the nighttime shine off my face. It's a little bit later on, well, a lot later on. I actually didn't end up doing any reading. I just started knitting and then I continued knitting. Let me show you what I've done. This is what I'm knitting at the moment. It looks like a hat. It's actually a jumper. I'm knitting circular, so you basically use needles that are attached to one another with a string, and you keep on knitting it around rather than having two separate pieces and then need to be folded and worked on in the reverse. My hair is a mess. I got rained on, so I've gone for this I don't know, reminiscing on my days as a ballet dancer as a kid. As you can see behind me and here as well. Oh no, you can't see anything. Oh yeah, you can. The flat is a mess. Key reason, the fact that we have a tiny human, and as I start doing something and as Andrew starts doing something, she either cries or wants attention, so that's fun. But she's now sort of half asleep, so I'll put you on time lapse and try to tackle whatever's happening in our kitchen. Ta-da! Okay, it's all tidy. I took a little knitting break, as you can see right there. If this will ever focus, yes, right there, my knitting, and then the rest is finally tidy again, in the kitchen as well. I have made myself some lunch. The little human has also had her lunch. Very few pages were read. It's about a couple hours later, but I read just about 10, not even 20 pages for sure. I mentioned briefly, I believe, in one of the previous clips that between two characters there was this sexual tension, but they hadn't explored a sexual relationship just yet. That literally happened the page that I opened the book back on, so that happened. So we'll see how that develops. I don't know, I feel like it might be a classic Sally Rooney of miscommunication between the two characters, and then the relationship never blooms, even though they're quite clearly quite compatible. But the reason why not much has happened is because I'll show you just a feet, but I was cuddling up here with my little munchkin. She's awake, but she was asleep before that, and I was just with her cuddling on the sofa. I've been trying to come to terms with the fact that I'm not working, and that yes, I am still a journalist, but I am also a mom for the past couple of months, which is literally when she entered my life. And I've been having this sort of fear of missing out, especially with a lot of events happening in the world while I'm off work. And I feel a little bit guilty because part of me really wants to be back at work in a way. But now I feel like I've tried to make peace with myself and what I'm feeling by trying to understand that this is not permanent. So I don't need to be extra productive every day. Sometimes it's okay just to be on the sofa for a couple of hours cuddling a little human, because she's never going to be this small again. And this time that I get given to enjoy my child is special and it's never going to happen again. Yeah, so I don't know, it's just a little outpour of love that hopefully in the coming months I'll look at and be, I don't know, a bit nostalgic about. I don't know. I'll now exercise a little bit. I've been doing, I think I showed in a previous clip that I filmed a few days ago, but I've gone back to exercising on a daily basis. Once a week I go to a Pilates class that is... Did you hear that? Anyway, as I was saying, once a week I go to a Pilates class that is baby friendly. Other than that, I do workouts at home, clothing workouts. I'll exercise, I'll read some more. Andrew's coming home really late tonight. He's got, I think I mentioned this before, he's a teacher, and today for the whole day he's been on a course which is an anti-racist course organised by the school, which I think is a wonderful initiative. It lasts until 6 something. So... Fun times, it's fine. I'll shower her, walk the dog, prep dinner. It's fine. It's a proper housewife day, you know? Those things that women in the 50s and 60s fought for, you know, not to have anymore. I'm doing that today. It's okay. It's just fun day. I get my progressive man back at normal time tomorrow. You're back in the kitchen. It's a lovely day outside. It rained probably more than it's rained in a whole month yesterday. So hopefully today we got a clear day. I say hopefully because you never know with this weather. But I'm currently in the kitchen. It's 9:20 in the morning on a Wednesday. And I have a Pilates class on today at 11 o'clock. So I have just under a couple of hours to get ready, enjoy a coffee and do some reading. But first we're in the kitchen because I need to pack stuff for the baby, which is a bottle because she takes formula as well, and nipple shields because sometimes she takes my breast, but she does a complete number on them if she's not on a nipple shield. So fun facts for you. You know when you sterilize something and it's been sterile for ages and then it falls onto the floor and you need to do it all over again? Bottle ready. Quite a few hours later. The noise that you hear in the background is my dishwasher. Believe it or not, I left this spot today, but this is probably the last clip you saw of me. But anyway, worked out, went to pick up a rain cover for the pram, came back, worked out some more, did a little bit of reading. Nothing worth reporting about just yet, but as our dinner is on its way because we treated ourselves to a cheeky Deliveroo in the middle of the week, I am going to read a little bit more, and I thought you might want to see me read. Hello. Another kitchen counter episode of this reading vlog, during which I've read 60 pages so far. Not having the best day, I'm gonna be honest. As you can hear, I've got a very unsettled child. It's been like this since this morning. Slept on the sofa for a bit this morning, between 5:15 and 6 o'clock. So that was fun. I mean, we have a really comfy sofa, but didn't make it too pleasant to start a day like that. Then we went to the butterfly house at the Horniman Museum, which, let me tell you, unless you're desperate to see about 4 butterflies flying around, do not waste your money or time going there. Stopped at Tesco, got some bacon. Normally I would go for a streaky bacon, but didn't have any, and I really wanted bacon. And a brioche bun. So let's make that, and then we eat. And then we read while we eat, because I fed a baby. And it's now, oh god, it's 4 o'clock already. I should also exercise, hence my wonderful attire. But yeah, I opened the door to the Amazon delivery person, and I was half naked. My bottom half was leggings and my top half was nothing. It was a child and nothing. And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, just leave the parcel on the floor. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Anyway, I got this. This is a knitting kit. Well, no, this is knitting needles for circular knitting. And they are the chunky ones, because I'm going to knit myself a chunky sweater, I've decided. And I don't have chunky needles here with me. I think my grandma has some, but not circular anyway. So I got those and some of this cables that you need to knit. But anyway, it's my first time knitting on wood, which, I mean, this is alright. It doesn't feel too coarse, but I'm most definitely a metal person. But the metal equivalent of this costs like 4 times as much, and considering I don't know whether I'm able to do it or not, I thought, let's give the cheap ones a try, and if they work, then I might ask for Christmas for a nice set of metal ones instead. But this should do the job, it's fine. And I've got some wool coming today as well. This is a 4 o'clock in the morning sort of purchase, where I was like, I really want a jumper, but I also don't want to buy a new jumper, so I'm gonna make myself a jumper, I've decided. But anyway, enough chat, let's eat. Let's read. The mini monster is finally... Oh no, I spoke too soon. How did I go from talking about politics and defense to this? Look at it. Look at this beauty. Not the healthiest lunch choice, but it's my lunch choice today. Sunday. Welcome to my bedroom, to my floor. I'm in the middle of sorting out summer clothes to put away, winter clothes to take out. So that's eventually going to happen today. As you can see, not exactly ready to go out. I'm wearing cozy clothes, and I think it's going to be mostly an at-home day. Yesterday I had very different plans from what the day actually served as. So the whole plan was that we were going to Blackheath, which, if you don't know where it is, it's sort of near Greenwich in London, so southeast London. So the whole plan was to go to Blackheath, sit down at Gale's, which is this sort of bakery chain, but it's really delicious, and have breakfast while reading, with the baby and the dog, of course. And that sort of happened up to a certain extent. So we made it to Blackheath, which is fine. And then Gale's didn't happen, or actually it did happen, but as takeaway, because it was packed. Everybody had exactly the same idea, and there was not a single spot where to sit, despite the fact that it was really early in the day. And it was also pouring rain, so it wasn't even a case of let's find the nearest park and sit down in the park. It was just mental. So we got back home, we were all cold and a bit wet. Obviously we didn't have a chance to read because we would have, you know, got flooded while reading, got wet while reading. And then we got home and it was so cozy that we decided just to have, we bought ourselves some scones or however you say that, and clotted cream, and we had some beautiful jam. So that was our cream tea sort of afternoon. And I did do some more reading of Sally Rooney's Beautiful World, Where Are You? And I'm actually here to talk about this. But the other thing that I did, was continue knitting my 2 knitting projects I currently have as work in progress. So let me show you this one. This one is for the mini human. I'm making her a sweater for when she's older. This is a beautiful colour. This is Aran wool, I think, hand dyed. It has all this beautiful, because it's hand dyed, it has all these beautiful different colours. But I'm knitting this in the round, which means it's all one piece and then just needs to be slipped onto a child. But I think I knitted a bit too much. I think I need to undo a couple of rows because it's a bit too long. So this is one. And then the other thing, I started this yesterday but I'm already at a good point. I'm making myself a sweater, because I want a chunky sweater, and I'm knitting this flat by using round needles. And let me show you my progress so far. So this is supposed to be a mock knit sweater, and yeah, so far it looks like this. So this is the bottom part that goes around the waist, and then it will continue all the way up my neck. Knitting projects aside, yesterday I also did some reading. I actually stayed up until 1 o'clock in the morning to read because I didn't want to put a book down. And I did do some reading of Beautiful World, Where Are You? I'm nearly halfway through the book. I'm at a point in the book where, without giving away any spoiler, the 4 characters, they're sort of, since very early on you see that 2 characters interact with one another by email. And that's Alice and Eileen, and as I explained, Alice and Eileen met each other at university. They're still close friends. Alice is a best-selling author, I don't know whether she's best-selling or not, but she's famous and she's an author. And Eileen works in the publishing industry, I believe at a literary magazine. They interact quite regularly from what I gather through emails. So we read their emails as if we were the recipient of the emails. And then there is also the relationship, friendship relationship or more relationship that they have with these 2 other characters. These 2 other characters I've never met. They are Simon, who knows both Eileen and Alice, but is closer to Eileen because they are childhood friends. And then there is Felix, whom we know since page 1, him and Alice go on a date, they meet on Tinder, they go on a date, and then it isn't quite what happens normally on a Tinder date. They do not have sex. They sort of have this awkward interaction. The thing that I want to address is the awkward interaction that we see throughout the book between Felix and Alice. Now, the interaction between Eileen and Simon is also sometimes weird, but it's something that I personally can relate to a little bit more. Whereas the interactions between Alice and Felix are very unnatural. To me, they feel a little bit forced. The key message that we get from the emails is a lot is happening in the world. There are a lot of issues with, you know, politics, economy, social themes and all that. But in the end, we always end up talking about friendship and love, which is true after all. If you have a conversation with your friends, chances are that you're probably going to discuss your personal life, probably more than big heavy topics such as, I don't know, Brexit, abortion rights or something like that. I'm not saying it's always the case, because if you look at me and my friends, and I'm assuming probably plenty of other people in the world, we do have really heavy conversations. But if you meet over a cup of coffee, it's more likely that you talk about so-and-so that did thing X, Y and Z, rather than talking about politician so-and-so doing, you know, reform. It's nice and it's nicely written, but sometimes it feels a little bit forced in the prose sense. So we'll see how that evolves. I'm not saying I'm not enjoying it. I'm quite enjoying it. I also quite like the fact that we get, obviously this is written by a best-selling author, and one of the main characters, as Lena Norms put really well in her video. Maybe it's partly autobiographical, maybe it's not, but still it has quite a lot in common with Sally Rooney, a young author in her late 20s, who sells a lot of books, who is quite remote from the social media sort of scene because she doesn't have any social media, or she doesn't actively use them. And obviously there is the other side of the thing, that is media talk about you even though they don't know you. So there is this contrast between the person that you are and the person that the media portrays you as. I find that interesting, and that's probably the most interesting thing in the book so far. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I wanted to give you this update. I am probably going to read a little bit more. Made myself a ginormous cup of tea, still with a filter in. And yeah, so that's going to happen. I mean, as you've seen, there is a mountain of clothes that needs to be tackled and put in the boxes under the bed, which you cannot see, thank God. Woo! And that's that for the time being. It's going to be a really chill day. I'm probably going to put my hair up. Now that Sage can do half a ponytail, I'll take it. It's now Tuesday, and I have made some progress with Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I'm halfway through, and I think I had a chat with you yesterday or a couple of days ago talking about how the email exchange between Alice and Eileen sounded very far-fetched in a way, as in, do people actually communicate that way? But then I had that thought, and I tried to go back to some emails that I sent to one of my best friends back in 2014, 2015. I had just moved to London and she was back in Rotterdam. She's actually probably watching this, so you know who you are. Hey there. But I was looking back at those emails, and I do see that the key topic is, yes, love and friendship and life and day-to-day life. But then there are those questions that are scattered here and there that are more larger than life as we know it on a daily basis. So maybe those interactions do exist, and maybe we have them on our day-to-day life, or at least with some special people in our lives. So yeah, maybe it's not that far-fetched. I'm really enjoying this sort of friendship that they have, where they're quite honest with one another, and they're not afraid to sort of call out one another when something isn't quite up to standard, if it makes any sense. As in, for instance, with my friends, I know I would call out bullshit if they were being unreasonable, and I have a feeling that Eileen and Alice might have something like that. There is, earlier on in one of the exchanges that they have, Alice writes to Eileen about her ex-boyfriend, saying that, well, you know, you knew since the beginning that you were not made to last forever, or that you were not good for one another, which sounds harsh, but it is the kind of advice that I would give to somebody I care about if that was the case. So I don't know, I'm enjoying that part of the book. When it comes to sexual relationships with the other two characters, they are interesting, but I feel like the sex scenes sometimes are a bit odd, not because of what happens, but the way it's described. There is one of the sex scenes that I read a few chapters ago that almost reads like a fade to black scene in a film, and it's nice, but sometimes you have more direct description, so it's odd to read within the same book two such different styles of description of sex scenes. So I don't know, I mean, that was obviously a stylistic choice. I do wonder whether that's to show that the author can write multiple types of sex scenes, or because we'll see more in terms of context. I don't know. If a sex scene is more intimate, so you don't see as much, does that mean that the characters are getting closer? So I do wonder whether that's something that's happening, and as the reader you're getting the sort of narrator bird's eye perspective on the thing, saying, you know, this is a really intimate moment, let's leave them alone, or if it's just sort of an experiment from the writer's perspective. But to know that, I need to finish a book, so that's what I plan on doing. I just boiled the kettle, so I'm making myself some tea. The baby decided that it was time for a nap. Now, she is 2.5 months, and naps no longer happen during the day. If they do, they last about 10 minutes, and then we're back to, I need to be entertained right now. So I'm taking this gift from the universe. My dog, as you can see, Poppy's right there. And she's also asleep. And there is my... Oh, do you want to see progress on my knitting? Probably don't, and I might need to cut this. But anyway, I showed you that I finished the back panel, and now I started the front panel. And this is how we're looking. I just finished the leftover skein of wool. But this is the bottom part of the front, and obviously this will continue up to here, and then the neck will start to happen. So that's my knitting progress. I do have to say, I am rediscovering knitting because I used to do it quite a lot when I was in high school. And I always say I only did scarves because that's literally all I did. Scarves, blankets, I don't even know where they are. And it was always on cheap polyester sort of acrylic wool, but that's not even wool, and fabric, yarn. But doing it with nice wool is a whole different experience, so I'm really happy with that. But yeah, I'll get some more reading done in this special moment of quiet. Hey puppy, hello. Before I continue reading, I actually met a friend briefly for a little drink, which was nice. Before I continue reading, I just wanted to address the what I read before leaving the house. So we witnessed an interaction between Eileen and Simon, and obviously the relationship that they have has evolved throughout the book. We know stuff of how the relationship was when they were kids, how it was when they were growing up in their early 20s, and now that Eileen is in late 20s and Simon is in his mid 30s, then we see a different kind of relationship that they have. And then there is this point which is very characteristic of Sally Rooney's novels, or at least the other two novels that I've read, which is a point where there is obviously an interaction where the characters should be open, in my opinion, and explain what is going through their head. But just like in conversation with friends, and just like in normal people especially, the characters decide to be introverted, or at least they give their best introverted self and don't speak their mind. And there is all this conflict that follows that I think could be just avoided. Some of Sally Rooney's characters could easily avoid conflict if they decided to speak their mind about their feelings, and that resonates quite a lot with how I approached a previous relationship. And I think that's why I enjoyed reading Normal People so much, but at the same time also made me cry a little bit. And I do wonder whether this book is going to be any different, because obviously you want to hope for the best for these characters, but also as somebody who has gone through some of this stuff, as somebody who has gone through some of this stuff in terms of how relationships are approached, I know that it's much easier to say something than to actually change your behavior. So we'll see how the book evolves, but I wanted to make this point before I continue reading. As you've heard, I also have a very vocal child today. So I do wonder whether I'll be able to finish or at least make good progress today. But for now, I'm 2/3 of the way through the book. So, not that bad.
Into
Do you hear that? That's the sound of my day. So we've got a cranky baby, and a cranky baby, I think she can smell it in the air. She knows today is vaccine day. She knows today she's getting jabs, and she knows today she might get a temperature. Last time it was a nightmare for about 48 hours afterwards, so I'm expecting a hard day ahead of me. But nevertheless, since we're probably going to stay home all day for obvious reason, today I plan on finishing a book, doing some admin. I need to place an order for... Enjoy the concert. I need to place an order for a new bin. The excitement is real when you're a homeowner. I have a dog here that needs to be walked, yes. I also do enjoy the beautiful takeover of plasticky bits around your flat. What else? So yeah, I have less than 100 pages to go until the end of the book. And I don't know, the more I read it, the more I'm enjoying it. And more than the actual storylines between Eileen and Simon and Felix and Alice, I'm enjoying the storyline between Alice and Eileen. And there has actually been a sentence in which Alice explicitly says that they never speak on the phone or hardly... Okay. Or hardly in person, but they exchange emails quite often, which... It really does remind me of this relationship that I have with one of my best friends, and we tend to, now it's more messages, but we had a time, especially in 2014, 2015, where we exchanged emails quite often, and I don't know, it generally reminds me about that, and it's quite nice to go through that. Actually, just yesterday I watched a video by Kira Foster, I think that's her name. It was a reading vlog about Beautiful World, Where Are You? And she was saying, I think she's in her early 20s, and she was saying how sad it is that, you know, when you're almost 30, you haven't figured out life, or that these characters still have the same struggles that you have when you're in your early 20s. And honestly, I can relate. I'm 28, and I do still feel like some of those characters in my life, and people do feel lost and insecure, and they haven't figured it out in your late 20s. So if you're in your late 20s and you're reading a book and you hear something like that, do just classify that as BS, because yes, it's normal to be in your 20s, late 20s, early 30s, and not have figured out your life. And I'm saying this as somebody who's 28 and has a child, but at the same time, you know, I haven't figured it out. I feel behind. I feel like sometimes I just want to crawl into a little ball and cry because I don't know what my life is going to be like in 5 years. And it's normal, I'm not alone. So, little pep talk for you. Oh, maybe she needed that pep talk because she stopped crying. Anyway, we're going for a dog walk. Not gonna take you because a child and dog are enough to juggle at once. And then we are heading to a doctor's practice to get the vaccines done to a little one. Wish me luck. Hello. I am whispering and I hope you can hear me because I have a sleepy child right there in the Moses basket. But she's falling asleep. We'll see what happens. She doesn't have a temperature, so I'm glad for that. But she's gonna be a bit cranky today, I'm aware of that. But the time has come for me to work. If you can hear a noise in the background, that's the dryer. I'm drying some clothes. I need to edit a chapter that I promised I would edit last week. Actually 22 chapters, but I think today I might be able to do just one because I still need to work out as well and finish reading Sally Rooney's book, so I better crack on. But I just wanted to check in. I haven't read anything else because it's been quite full on, but well, as I said, we'll take today as it comes. I'm trying not to be too harsh on myself because I know I can't do everything when there is a tiny little human that is cranky, and also when I'm really tired. But the past few days she's been sleeping through the night, which really makes a difference. So being able to get a full night's sleep despite the fact that she is not even 3 months old, I'll take that as a major win. But anyway, that's drying. I need to write. I'm literally, what, 2 pages away from 4 pages away from the end. This is my favourite Sally Rooney book so far. And for as much as I've said that Normal People resonated with me, this one resonates in a whole different way. I think earlier in this vlog I mentioned how, you know, Normal People resonates with a certain part of my life, with a certain relationship that I had. Whereas this has a whole different feel to it, and maybe because I'm closer to the age of the characters, maybe because the friendship between Eileen and Alice is so similar to something that I have. But now I'm on the last chapter, chapter 30, and I'm just like, this literally something. I mean, if you read this book and if you watched my previous videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm like, even, it's so specific, and I can't say the sentence without spoiling the book, and I don't want to spoil the book. But if you watch my previous videos, and if you know what's happening in my life, and if you read chapter 30 of Beautiful Word, Where Are You, then you know what I'm talking about. And I don't know, I just started crying, and I thought, let me turn the camera on, because it had been a while since a book made me feel this way. And I'm glad I'm feeling this way about a book. And yeah, it's nice. Right, I'll report back in about 4 pages. Hello. It's a few hours later, and as you can see, I finished reading Sally Rooney's Beautiful Word, Where Are You? I am surprised by this book. At the beginning, this book felt a little bit forced, a little bit edgy, a little bit, I want to be very self-reflective on the writers and publishing industry and all that. But as the book went on, it really showed how relatable, at least in my personal case, is the friendship between Eileen and Alice. That really resonates with a personal experience, and also the relationships that we see between the characters and their counterparts. So the relationship that we see Alice and Felix develop, and also that we see Eileen and Simon develop, those are real relationships. I'm convinced that something like that could actually happen, regardless of the fact that earlier in the book, in the vlog, I said that the book felt almost forced, in the sense that who would have those kind of conversations, who would behave that way. But then the more you read, the more you realize that you probably had an interaction like that. You probably felt those things. And what I particularly appreciate, other than the email exchange between Eileen and Alice, which feels really nice and introspective, it reads as a stream of consciousness, and it's beautiful to read. I also really appreciated the fact that it deals with topics that are current. If you read the book, you know that towards the end there is a brief mention to the pandemic and lockdown. And that really touched me, because I have been wondering how the publishing industry and the authors will deal with the pandemic in the years to come. And I think a book like this that came out as the pandemic is still happening, and as some countries are still in lockdown, is very interesting. And the take that this novel takes on how people that are in their late 20s, early 30s have when it comes to how coronavirus has impacted our lives is very, I don't want to say interesting, but it's very real. Because if you've read the book, then you'll know how it ends, and you realise that probably you do know somebody like Eileen, probably you do know somebody like Simon, probably you do know somebody like Felix, probably you know somebody who's like Alice. And I'm not saying that they necessarily need to be the famous author or the, I don't know, the guy who's in politics and earns a lot of money. No, I'm talking about the personal storylines, their insecurities, the questions, the way they face the world, the millions of questions that we have been left with as we basically had to put our lives on hold for at least 18 months, but it's now nearly 2 years. And yeah, I know I said the word resonates a lot throughout this video, but it really did. It really resonated, and as you saw in the previous clip, I really wanted to film myself because I was crying, and those were tears of, I don't know how to explain it, but tears that made me feel like I had been seen and heard during this period of time where nobody saw us and nobody heard us because we were at home. We had to be at home. We had to force ourselves to become even more introverted if we're introverted, or force ourselves to find a way to be extroverted through Zoom, for instance. So as far as I'm concerned, this book is beautiful, and I am very surprised because I was not expecting to like it this much. I was not expecting to like it more than normal people, but for me right now, considering she's written 3 books and 2 short stories I've read, this is the nicest thing I've read by Sally Rooney. And I'm not saying it's going to be an all-time classic and all that, but I'm just saying it's a very comforting book. It's a really pleasant read, and again, it resonates. So it's a big thumbs up for me, but I do understand it might not be everyone's cup of tea. It does give a sense of hope towards the final fifth of the book, which if you're looking for that, then you should definitely read it. But yeah, for me, it's a very unexpected thumbs up, and a pleasant thumbs up. I'm happy to have enjoyed this book so much. I was not expecting it whatsoever. So thank you so much for sticking by. So that was Beautiful Word, Where Are You by Sally Rooney, and I hope you enjoyed my take on the book and you enjoyed following me around during the past couple of weeks. Yeah, it must be 2 weeks now. But I enjoyed filming it, and it's nice to get back into the swing of things. It's nice to do a vlog again, even though with obvious limitations. I would have loved to take the camera around a little bit more, but obviously when you have a child and a dog, it's not particularly easy to juggle something else in your hands again. But what else did I want to say? Oh yeah, so there are more vlogs coming your way. I'm filming another one on Saturday because it's World Bookshop Day, sorry. So I'm doing a little bookshop crawl. I don't know whether this vlog is going to go first or that vlog is going to go first, but either way, you will see both. And I do have another reading vlog coming up. I think I'll start filming it either today or tomorrow. I don't know whether today I'll start reading something else because I am developing a bad headache. But the next book I'm going to be reading is Piranesi by Susana, and this was the winner of the Women's Prize for Literature this year. So I can't wait to get stuck into this. I know very little about it, but I don't know, I had a feeling. I just read the blurb and I was so intrigued. You can't really understand what the plot is about, and that is something that I'm looking forward to. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought of the book, what you thought of the video, and literally every little comment helps. Every little thumbs up or thumbs down if you didn't like it really helps, because it makes me understand what I'm doing right or what I'm doing wrong. But the words of encouragement that some of you have been leaving over the past couple of videos are really very meaningful. I am currently on maternity leave. That doesn't mean I'm not working. Taking care of a tiny little human that screams most of the time is hard, but this gives me a little bit of sense of purpose, and I have very exciting videos coming your way in November, because November is National Novel Writing Month, and I'll be working on my novel, and more on that coming your way. But for now, thanks again for watching. I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.